like we talked about yesterday, it's so hard to find the balance in your life. It is very hard to find the balance, how to build the business, how to work with the kids, the soccer practice, personal issues. Anybody ever have drama in their life? Probably nobody on this line, right? Nobody in this line has drama. It's all just honky-dory, smooth sailing. So you go opening up week 1 here. Where's that packet? So here we go. So as of the welcome call last night, as of now, you guys have already completed the GST, which most everybody did on here, which that was on adand90.buy.com. So just kind of catching you guys up to date. You've completed the GST. You've completed the extended GST. You've subscribed to Vet Digital, which is getvetnow.com, and you've registered for the upcoming regional success training, and you've printed out this contract. You've printed out this contract at adand90.buy.com, and you have a Premier Custom Kit on delivery. You have 30 days worth of samples. You have a 100-person list, and you have a journal and a whiteboard, right? Everybody's got all that stuff, because otherwise they wouldn't be on a call, right? Because that was what no? Okay, good. So if you guys want to see just how serious and how prepared I am, I have actually painted my whole house whiteboard. If any of you guys have ever seen my whole office now is all whiteboard. It's all whiteboard. And the reason why is because, does anybody know the reason why I've had to quintuple my whiteboard space in my house?
The team is growing.
What's that?
Your team is growing?
Yes, team is growing. We're literally going to have quintuple the amount of ADs this month. And then quintuple the amount of ADs after that over the next 90 days. And the reason why is because we simply have a blueprint for you guys. So let's dive right into week 1. So the introduction, we've already discussed. You guys want to drive to ADs, sign the contract. The one thing I'll need you guys to do here is I need you guys, if you could kindly, is what I would love to know is, and if you guys have already done this before, there's some folks that were on this week 1, week 1 lesson, and they went through 1, 2, 3 last month, but we started it the 2nd or 3rd week into the month. So some of you guys have already emailed me your reason why, but everybody else, if you guys have not emailed me the reason why you're doing this business and your team, your list of 100 contacts, I need you to work on that in the next 24 hours. So in the chat box, Joshua Quady at hotmail.com. In the chat box, that right there is my email address. So I would love for you guys to email me the reason why you are doing this business and your 100-person list. Okay, the reason why you're doing this business and your 100-person list. Okay, so that way I know we're all on the same page. So diving into the lesson, week 1. Does anybody know what our goal for week 1 would be? Seeing how we're in week 1, goal 1 would be, anybody want to take a guess? What's going to be our goal for this week?
1 customer, 1 promoter.
1 promoter, very good. 1 customer, 1 promoter. And so here's how we're going to go ahead and do this. That's our goal for week 1. So what we're going to talk about right now that's actually going to help you guys with your development and how to actually run this is we're going to introduce Vet to you guys. Now, who on here has been plugging into Vet? I know everybody says they plug into Vet, but how many people have actually plugged into Vet and got something valuable out of Vet? Dovin, Mark, if you guys sound off real quick, what is Vet doing for? What has Vet done for you guys so far? What videos, what has it done for you guys actually as far as, listening to that stuff?
It gave me a better way to be able to talk to different customers and how to approach them. The one I've been looking at a lot was the one for Facebook.
Yes, good. Dovin.
How to Conquer My Fears with Nick Sarnicola. That's a good one. I listened to a Kyle Passetti one today. I'm just introducing Visalis and do's and don'ts, crusades of what your drive is, what you want. I don't know, it motivates me, excites me. But when I listen to him, I listen to him like 5 times in a row because I'm not taking notes, so it sinks. So I'm working at the time.
Yeah, I love it. Guys, that's the beauty of VET is literally like, you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. We're all on challenges anyways, and we're all driving in our vehicles anyways. Like the one big thing that I've done in my journey with this business is, guys, you all know this. When I first started with this, you all heard my story. I was a mess. Okay, I was a mess. I was poverty mindset. The world had to change. I didn't have to change. I was a self-sabotager. Anytime anything ever good came into my life, I was surrounded around a bunch of hoodlums. I love them to death, but I'll still call them my hoodlums. You know what I mean? They were. I was just surrounded, and I was on a bad path. And so what happened when I plugged into VET, we didn't have VET back then, so I had to plug into my own personal development. So I turned my car into a mobile library. Okay, so whenever I was in the car, I didn't even listen to music anymore. I was always listening to my personal development in my car, because the key thing is how are you going to grow? How are you going to learn? Life is already busy as it is. It's so hard to find a balance. So the key thing is how are you going to fit it all in? How are you going to be able to control this to where you are actually controlling your calendar and your calendar is not controlling you? Part of the reason how you're going to do that stuff is you're going to learn from the top people in the whole company on VET how to control your calendar. With VET, you're also going to learn, you're going to develop very strong mindset, leadership. That is the biggest thing I noticed that you guys will develop on here right now is you guys will be developing the mindset, the skill set, and the leadership. The leadership is the biggest thing because a lot of times people think that, I'll just go sign up this person. Right? Who's ever been guilty of this? If I just get this one person in my business, we're going to get it. Or if I could only get this person in my business, if I get this person in my business, we're going to be rich. How many people have got emotionally attached to one person coming into their business? Anybody?
Yes.
And it's not that one person. Sadly, it's not that one person. You have to be in that mindset of that one. That's not that one person. So that one person might lead you to somebody that will lead you to somebody that will lead you to somebody that will lead you to somebody. But that's where the leadership part of developing your leadership into this, it's not that people won't go out there and do anything. We just have to focus on being better leaders to lead people to do stuff instead of trying to force people to do stuff. Great leaders, they lead by pulling, not pushing. They lead by pulling, not pushing. That's where you're going to develop this stuff. So, the easiest way I can explain this is, how long did it take you to get your degree from college? Or how long did it take you guys to get your master's degree? And what your current profession is. Okay? Some of you guys have literally put 10, 20,000 hours into your life, into your. I'm going to have to mute Liz out here. How many of you guys put hours, tens of thousands of hours, years into your education, tens of thousands of dollars of money into your life, into your education, the current profession that you have right now? And that's exactly what this is right here now too. Is, a lot of folks, they want to get involved in network marketing. And if it doesn't happen right away, they start to get frustrated. And this is a 2 to 5 year plan before you're even going to get really, really good. What I love about this industry, though, is you will get paid along the way. You will get paid along the way. So it might take you 4 to 5 years to get to the point where I'm at, making, $10,000 plus per month. But, how fast is 5 years going to go by anyways?
Really fast.
It's going to go by like that. So is it okay that while you guys are going to college here for the next 2 to 3 years, we pay you an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month just to go to college, to learn, to develop yourself? That's the way you have to look at this. This is going to take years to get to the point where you are a professional. And that's part of the lessons that we're actually going to go into today. So the first priority of an entrepreneur is your, it's your whys, your dreams, your goals, and your procedure. So the reason why I want to know why y'all are doing this business. How many people have a hard time trying to figure out why they are actually doing this business? Or how many people are guilty of not writing down and literally going into detail? Like I wrote a book here. I wrote like, oh my gosh, probably 4 or 5 pages down here. This is my reason why. To give you guys an example, one of the first ones I wrote, I found this earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-page reason why I was doing this business. Okay? When it was the first 9 months, I didn't write down the reason why. All right. Who is that? Who's the guilty one? Probably George.
Morna.
Probably George or Greg. It's usually George or Greg. Sorry, guys. So I had a 6-page wrote down of my reason why. Because if you don't know the reason why you're doing this business, you will never, ever, ever, ever figure out the how. If you don't know the reason why you're doing this business, you will never, ever, ever, ever figure out the how. If you don't know the reason why you're doing this business, you will never, ever, ever figure out how. Are human beings smart? All of the human beings in this world, they're actually very intelligent folks. A lot of times they'll prevent themselves, allow from using their brain. You know what I mean? They'll shut themselves down. They'll think lower of themselves right there. But human beings have the ability to figure stuff out. It cracks me up sometimes when I'll send out a picture or something like on Facebook, and somebody will say that it was one of their instructions was to do something, and they'll look at the photo and they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't know where it was, and so therefore I just didn't do it." I'm like, "What do you mean you didn't know where it was? The picture was right there." "Oh, well, the letters were too small. The letters were too small." I'm like, so zoom in. so zoom in on your picture. You know what I mean? It's just like if you knew why you're doing this business, nothing could possibly stand in your way. If this was about your children, if your children, if there was something, if your child was in trouble and you got a call for them or to do something for them, you guys would literally go up, down, you dig through anything to find out how to go out there and take care of that situation. You would figure out whatever it is. And because the reason why you love your children so much, you're going to do anything so much. You literally have your vision, your children's vision, their lives planned out for them. You can visualize the great life that they'll have. You can visualize the great relationships and the grandkids and everything. You've already thought about how life is going to be. This is what I'm asking you guys to do this here in this business, is write down your reason why and go deep. Go deep on this, because if you never write the reason why, if you never really go deep and figure out why you're doing this business, you'll never figure out the how. And that's the thing I'm going to challenge you guys to, is because you guys will always figure out the how. You'll always figure it out. The only way that people don't ever figure this out, they don't know why, and they quit too early. It's kind of hard to watch, actually, sometimes. But it's got to be something emotional, long-term, something philanthropic could even be. I'm even going to challenge you guys to have a selfish goal. I want you guys to have a selfish goal. Maybe it's, I just want to get on a vacation and go away by myself. Does anybody on here just want to go away by themselves sometimes and just go buy themselves a fancy pair of jeans, a fancy bathing suit, and just get away by themselves? I know I do. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I just want to go be by myself for sorry. This is really hard to do with my wife in the background. So, you guys should actually be giving me some mad props, because I'm going into the battlefield right now here. So
I feel the same way sometimes.
Okay, good. She feels the same way sometimes. That's why sometimes she'll just disappear for 2 or 3 days at a time. And I think she listened to this training here. So. No, it's like, you guys, it's okay to have a selfish goal. And especially for a lot of you mamas on there, sorry guys, but this is most common thing I see is all the mamas on here, they always spend so much time taking care of everybody else that they don't feel it's okay. You know, they don't want to go out there and get their hair done because that money could have been spent on a kid's pair of jeans. They don't want to go out there and get their nails done. Katie, are you mean mugging me? Can anybody else see this? Somebody's got to take a screenshot of this. Because anybody else see her screenshot?
Her face is frozen in a mean face.
Oh, I got to take a picture of this. This is just posting this on Facebook for sure. She is straight. Okay, so just an FYI, when you guys actually back out of the Zoom, make sure you're smiling, then back out, because otherwise the face that you make while you back out is the one thing that's actually stored in there. So this is Katie. I am straight getting mean mugged. So a lot of times is, you know, we don't actually, we spend so much time taking care of everybody else, but there's got to be a little bit of selfish goal. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself. And sometimes that actually, that might give you that little extra drive. Maybe that's part of your why, is so that way you can schedule, you know, a 1 to 2, 3 hours a week that you can hire a babysitter to come in, where you can just go off and go hang out with your friends and go hang out with your girlfriends. That's once a week thing that you do. Maybe once every quarter, you go take a trip with maybe your mom or your sister, and even the guys on here too. You go take like the mom or your buddies and you go hang out at a Tigers game all day long on you. You know what I mean? That's okay. Stuff like that is actually okay. But if you don't think like that, if you don't allow yourself to dream like that, if you don't allow yourself to think that stuff live, it's going to be very hard for you, because it's the levels of, you know, learning that you have to go through. So your dream. So it's already told you guys it's got to be an emotional driver. That's your why, your crusade. Now, what I'm going to also guys have you do is I'm going to challenge you to a crusade. So my crusade was, when I first started, and it still is my mother raised us, you know, on her own. Okay, so we grew up in a very poverty household, and so I used to think all the time, man, if I one day, because I remember I made an agreement with the Lord when I was a little kid. I remember telling the Lord one day, like, Lord, if you get me out of this mess, if you get me and my mom out of this mess, if you can somehow find us a way out of here, I will spend the rest of my life helping everybody else get out of this mess that are in that too right there. That was my crusade. And still to this day, you know what I mean? That's why I love working with the Boys and Girls Club. That's why I love helping develop the right mentalities and the right skill sets in these kids, because that's what drives me. That's part of what drives me to go out there and make more money, because, you know, if I didn't have more money, I couldn't go out there and go take 45 kids to a Lions game or a Tigers game or a Loons game. I mean, we couldn't do that. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but in order to be able to provide life experiences, you need what? Money. You need money, you know, and you can't, and sometimes it's like, well, I'm not about the money. It's not about the money. What are you going to do with that money? What is it, the type of things, what are you going to do with that money? Are you going to go on missionaries? Are you going to go build churches? Are you going to go build soccer fields? What is it that you're going to do? What is your crusade? And your goals, your personal drivers, they have to be time-stamped. So whatever your goals are, they've got to be time-stamped. They've got to be documented, measured, and achievable with alignment. So right now, when Carol and I first got started, it took us a long time. But first, we set up a year goal. We set up a year goal. And lo and behold, within that year, we didn't hit our goal, but we came darn close. Within that year, we came darn close. We were making $5,000 a month. And our goal was $8,000 a month. Then I finally actually rewrote down our 5-year goal. And within that 1 year, I had wrote down $10,000 a month. And I had wrote it down all over the house. $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Because I actually wrote that goal, I wrote our 5-year plan out. But in that first year, after when we finally wrote our goal, so it had been 3 years into the business, we finally crossed the mark of $10,000 a month. But because that was time-stamped, we had time-stamped that goal, okay? Then the second year, I think it was $15,000 a month. The fourth year was $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month. And I also had how many teams I had, what cities I wanted. I remember I had actually bought a Midwest calendar, And I started picking out little cities that I had people in. I started picking out and putting pins in cities that I literally had in. And I could visualize myself speaking in front of crowds or developing teams in all these different cities. One was Grand Rapids. One was in Bay City. One was in Traverse City. One was in Chicago. One was in Detroit. Now, it took me 7 years to open up Detroit. Dave, thanks a lot. Way to hustle it there. Way to take your old merry old time to help me reach my goals. Appreciate you there, buddy. I don't know where you were on that one. But guys, the only reason why is because if you actually have a goal and you can write it down and it's part of your vision, write it down. If you put it on paper, if you write yourself out a map out for your life, do you guys realize that people take more time planning out their vacation, their family vacation, than they will ever take writing out their life? How fascinating is that? We take more time and more intention planning out our family vacations than we do just mapping out and writing out our whole life. You know what the irony is? Anybody want to know what the irony of that is?
Take more vacations.
Yeah, if you were to write out your life and if you were to plan out your life and have a blueprint or a map for your life, it would actually be able to, your life would be, everything would be, not so here today, gone tomorrow, a calendar controlling your life. You would have it to the T, a map, a road plan laid out for it, which would actually help you acquire more money into your life. It would help your development. It would help your stress levels would go down. It would actually bring more abundance into your life. And with more abundance into your life by having an actual plan and being proactive to your life instead of reactive to your life, you would have more abundance. And if you had more abundance, you'd be able to take more vacations, and you'd actually be able to take not better vacations, because vacations are all good, but wouldn't it be nice to go on a vacation and not have to budget for a vacation? Has anybody ever went on vacation and budgeted? It's stressful. Like when you go on vacation, do you want to budget, or are you going on vacation to relax and get away from it all? You know what I mean? That right there is the beauty of this right there, is take time to plan out your life like you do your vacation. So that right there is, your goals, make sure they're time stamped. So here, what we're going to go into next is the 4 levels of learning. This one's big, guys. The 4 levels of learning. Okay. This is Abraham Maslow. This is scientific stuff right here. This is smart people stuff right here. Okay. This isn't Quady stuff. Okay. This isn't Quady stuff. This is actual scientific, studied stuff that people actually go through. So the first level of learning is unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence, meaning you don't know what you don't know. Okay, meaning you don't know what you don't know. So, and a lot of folks out there is that they have it. Everybody's different. So I'll give a couple different examples. But there's a lot of sports out there that people they see people playing sports, or they see people watching like these movie series, and they see people doing activities out there. They see people maybe I see a lot of things like paddleboarding. Paddleboarding is becoming so huge out there right now. Paddleboarding is one of the biggest fads out there. Pickleball, paddleboarding, a lot of that stuff out there. And sometimes it's just, you don't know what you don't know. So I always like to relate it to network marketing. Like when I first found out about network marketing, scam, pyramid, nobody have ever seen that have ever had success. They're just trying to take your money. People don't like it, yada, yada, yada. I didn't know what I didn't know. Okay. And maybe a lot of you guys have been through the exact same thing with with network marketing to yourself, or yourself in the industry. You just don't know what you don't know. So that's the first level of learning. You don't know what you don't know. Big thing of mine too is like, that was with me, like with my religion, with my faith. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was just running around like a little tomcat doing whatever the heck it is I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I was just read bird. You don't know what you don't know. The second level is conscience incompetence, meaning you know that you don't know. So as you start to dig into it, as you start to realize and so for me, it was when I started getting involved in network marketing and when I started getting involved in realizing that I didn't have to follow the same path as everybody else, that I didn't have to work 40 hours a week, 40 to 50 hours a week for the rest of my life and hopefully retire with a pension. I didn't have to swim, down the stream or against the stream. I didn't have to follow the crowd. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to live a life of, not wanting to do what I want. I didn't have to do what anybody else told me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? It's just like I started to, you know that you don't know. You know that you don't know. So that's when you're in your second level of learning. The third level of learning is what they call conscious competence. Conscious competence. Conscious competence. Okay? Meaning that right there is you do it naturally. I'm sorry. You know that you know. Okay? You know that you know. So when you're in the third level of learning is you know that you know. So meaning like, and there's a lot of folks on this line right here. I'm not going to call anybody out. But I hear them constantly say this stuff right there is when you're in your second level of learning, you know that you don't know. But when you know that you don't know, what do you automatically start doing to know it? You start what?
Research.
Researching and
Reading out.
studying. You start researching and studying because you know that you don't know. But in the third level is when you're in the third level is you've studied, you've researched it, you're doing everything, and now you know that you know. You know that you know. This is the scariest part, guys. You know that you know now. So a lot of folks on here right now are probably in the level number 2. But the scariest part about this business is number 3, is you know that you know now. You know that you know how to do it. You know that you're capable of doing it. You know that you have all the potential to do this. You know that you have the skill set to do this. You know that you're smart enough to do this. You know that this business works to do this. You know that you had the network to do this. You know that you're making the wrong mistakes. You know that you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. There's a fourth level right after this. Tammy out there. So you know that you know. But there's a fourth level after this, but guess where everybody quits? Guess what level everybody quits? Anybody want to take a guess why? You might guess why at level 3 everybody quits. And maybe they might not quit the business, but they quit. Anybody want to know why?
Fear.
Fear, but fear of what?
Fear of, well, you know that you don't know, but you're
No,
ready to make
this
the next.
is you know that you know.
Fear of rejection.
Failure.
Fear of rejection.
There you go.
I think all those answers are right. You guys want to know my theory? You know that you know. You guys want to know my theory?
Fear of succeeding and not knowing what to do.
It's a fear of success.
Woo.
Oh,
It's you now know that you are just as good as everybody else. You now know that you can actually do this. You now know, oh my gosh, I could be a millionaire with this company. Oh my gosh, I could have 5,000 people in my organization. Oh my gosh, I could do this. But I've lived my whole life. Somebody else I lived my whole life, being just a little shy one. But everybody knows me in my life for being the one that's always there for them. Everybody knows me my whole life that I'm always the guy that'll say yes. I won't say no. Everybody can take up all my time in my life because I'm always the guy that's going to say yes. They can always depend on me on a weekend or something to do at night because I'm always going to say yes. And what happened is when you know that you already know that you have potential to go out there and do this. And that scares the absolute, you know what, out of you. And so what people do is as soon as they start to figure out, as soon as they start knowing that they know, what do?
They just kind of settle in right there.
What's that?
It's comfortable, so they just stay where they're at.
Yep. It's either they either get comfortable, they can stay where they're at, or they start self-sabotaging themselves. And what I mean by that is, hold on, I gotta volunteer for this thing too. And they start taking on they start actually filling up their life with income generating activities. They start filling up their calendar with stuff that's actually not going to get their family and wherever else that they do. Now they want to do that, but I heard somebody say it the other day. It's not that we don't have time. It's just that we want to go be on the softball team. We want to be a part of the bowling league. We want to go do this. We want to go do that. So we start filling up our life, or we start literally sabotaging. Like we'll literally disappear from our team for 2 or 3 weeks, or we won't listen to the personal development, or we'll sabotage our challenge. I can't tell you how many times I see people they'll literally go drop all the weight, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, it's going too well for me. It's going too well. I got to mess this up somehow. That's the third level of learning. So guys, the third level is where most people quit or they stop growing because they're like, I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to be the one to do this because what if I bring on all these people and then I can't lead them? Guys, the only way through level three is repetition. When you're on level 3, that's the time when you're probably able to go speak in front of people and you start doing a lot of scary stuff. The biggest suggestion I could possibly give you guys is being addicted to being uncomfortable. Become addicted to being uncomfortable. When you're about to do something scary, that's when you're in the right place. When you're about to jump on a call and it's scary, when you're about to go to somebody's house to pre-party with them, when you're about to go take stage, when you're in the scary part, guys, that's when you know you're in the right spot. You know you're in the right spot when you're constantly uncomfortable. Because eventually, when you're constantly getting uncomfortable and you just keep throwing yourself in there, guess what happens when you keep throwing yourselves into uncomfortable situations?
You get comfortable.
You get comfortable. And guess what doesn't happen? You don't die. You don't die. You don't die. Where's Chris at? Where's my girl Chris at? I know she's in here somewhere. Where's Chris at? I'm going to pick on her.
Yes.
Wow. That was so exciting. Yeah, you rang.
No, because I know you're going to pick on me like you always do.
I don't always pick on you. So change the story there, girlfriend. So you had a scary phone call that you had to do the other day. Tell everybody about that. That's this. So you're in the third level of earning right now. So tell everybody about this. This was probably your number one scariest call?
Yeah. Well, I have one other one that I've been working on. I just haven't gotten there yet. But this one, yeah. He wasn't not a friend, I guess an acquaintance. He had interviewed me for a job, and he had friend requested me a few months ago, and I was like, all right, no big deal. I mean, I know you, but I don't know you type thing. And he's been on my list for a while, and after I had talked to you, you said not always is it your friends or somebody close to you. It's somebody you may know in passing or an acquaintance. So I reached out to him. Lo and behold, you knew who he was. And he actually was open to talking to me again this week. So my heart raced, my voice cracked. I thought I was going to die, but I didn't. I made through it and I felt good.
And that's what's so funny is that right there is in the third level of learning is that you have to start reaching out to folks that are maybe more entrepreneurial or that have stronger leadership skills. If you want a team of 1,000 people, do you guys think that you can build it around the folks that are simply just like 1s, 2s, and 3s on their leadership level? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, if you wanted to build thousands of people on your team, do you think that they're going to build it around just by having a bunch of people that are on a 2, 3, or 4 on a leadership level? You guys feel like you can do that? No. You're going to have to build it on, all right, who's that now? Who's the culprit?
Then you say, look, if you're a monthly delivery of this Premier Kit for only 90 days, number one, you're going to get it
Either Loretta or Dave.
for 90 days because we're
Yeah,
going to
Loretta. All right. So if you guys are looking to build a team of hundreds or thousands of people in your organization, eventually what's going to happen is you start to know that you need to call these folks that are of higher influence. But the people that have higher influence and the people that have the high leadership levels, the higher skill set levels, those folks right there, they're so hard to call because they're what?
They make 20 times more money than you make, so they're high
20
leadership.
times more money than you make. But here's what, guys. I'm going to give you a little tip. Do you guys know that the average six-figure earner right now, like 80 to 90% of them out there, actually it's higher than 70%. It's right around 70%. I don't know the exact number, but live paycheck to paycheck.
What?
Do you guys know that? It's like, so what it is they just got bigger toys. They got the same bad spending habits. They got the same, maybe bad saving habits or whatever it is. They live the American dream. But so what's funny about that though is an influential person can literally make a few phone calls and they're going out there getting $300-$500 in product and they're making $300-$500 a month. They can literally just use their influence alone without anything else, and they can bring in 15 to 20 people. Now, we sit there and think like that $1,000 to $2,000 a month, we think that this is not even worth their time. But, what's an extra $1,000 to $2,000 do for somebody's life? Especially somebody that's, maybe making 6 figures a year. They probably got a big house. Okay. What's $2,000 do for them?
Bills.
Their mortgage is paid for just simply using utilizing the relationships that they've built throughout their whole life. So guys, that stuff is really big right there. We don't think that, they would be interested in this right there, but those guys aren't dumb. The ones that are actually the influential ones are the ones that are always taking a look at this. So moving along, and then the conscious and unconscious competence, meaning you do it so naturally you don't even have to think about it. Now, guys, I went really deep on the level 3. Now, do you guys know why I go really deep on level 3, the level 3 of learning? Does anybody know why I went really deep on that one? Almost like overkill on that one?
Because you've been there?
Because I've been there, but I also know that it's the place where most people quit. Almost everybody quits at level 3. So are you guys going to work with people in your group? Is it going to happen in your group that your people will get to level 3 and they'll peace out?
Yeah,
I'm preparing you guys for the future. Okay? I'm preparing you guys for the future. I'm preparing you guys for everything that you guys are going to run into. Because sometimes it'll break your heart. Sometimes you're like, oh, they're so close. But it's just the trick. It's the way it goes. So everyone quits at level 3, and just think about everything in your life. What things have you mastered into your life? Think about right now what you've mastered in your life. Everybody's got something. And now think how many hours it took you to get to that point where you've mastered that. That's the exact same thing that you can do part-time here in this organization. The only difference is that this provides you a system, this provides you a platform to grow in an environment to where over the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you guys will be able to grow. I mean, what I love about this is look at this as like a teacher. Can you imagine if a teacher got 2% of every single child's paycheck that they taught for the rest of their life?
It would do a lot for them.
Can you guys imagine? Oh my gosh, everybody would teach an extra good. Everybody would be teaching extra good. Like, oh yeah, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Guys, this is what this is. So how good do you want to get at developing $500 or $1,000 earners in this? You know what I mean? I've never seen, this is like it's literally like, I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. And so once I figured out, I knew that I knew that I knew, you know that you know, I put so much time into this, becoming unconscious competence. That was my eventual goal, is being unconsciously competent in this. So the only way you get through the fourth level is repetition, repetition, repetition. So guys, the 3 things that we do in this business, anybody know what the 3 things that we do in this business is? Gather customers. Okay. We build a team of promoters. What's number 3?
Repeat.
We duplicate 1 and 2. We gather customers, we build a team of promoters, and we duplicate 1 and 2. Okay, I will challenge you guys. The smartest people had the hardest time with this. I actually just talked to somebody right before we got into this. It's so funny. Like the engineers, the analytical type, they like to take something that's so simple and complicate it. Okay, they like to take something so simple. The smartest people and the analytical ones, they like to take something that's so complicated. The key with this thing here is to take this and make it and do it the other way. Keep it so simple that everybody can figure it out. Something so simple that everybody can do. Okay, and that might be part of the reason why you guys hear me make fun of myself and talk about my 1.79 GPA all the time, or talk about me failing racquetball 4 times at Delta College. You know what I mean? You might see me, that might be why. And it's not because, you know, you have to be super smart at this. It's just that you have to duplicate this. You have to simplify this so much. Part of the reason how we overcomplicate this is we try to put our own little sauce on it, or we try to, we just spice it up. But all you're doing is when you're gathering customers, is you're just jumping on your own challenge. You're jumping on your own challenge, and you're becoming a product of the product. If you're consistent on a challenge, and that's part of the journey with this, is in order for you to gather customers, it's being consistent on your challenge. But that's also a problem with a lot of folks, not just with their health, but with their body, with their spirituality, with so many other things. It's a lack of consistency. And if people were just hit little base hits every single day, guys, base hits will get you in the Hall of Fame. Little base hits every single day will get you into the Hall of Fame. It doesn't have to be a home run every single day. Just little base hits every single day will get you into the Hall of Fame. Okay? So it doesn't take literally just swinging for that home run. It's consistency. It's consistency in your challenge. It's consistency in your business. It's consistency in your growth. It's consistency in your faith. It's constantly being grateful for everything instead of being, trying to figure out what's wrong, but what's everything going right. Just having a straight up positive mind frame every single day, and having your why you're doing this business, having your goals laid out. If you have your goals laid out and you wake up every single morning and you write your reason why, put it this way. If you woke up every single morning and you had your perfect day wrote down in 10 years, and you woke up every single morning and read your perfect day in 10 years or 5 years, your perfect day, could you get through that without smiling? The perfect day, your family, your kids, your wife, your husband, wherever it is, could you get through your perfect day, reading your perfect day, what it's going to look like, and not be smiling? You couldn't. You couldn't. So if you can start your day off in a positive mind frame every single day, oh my gosh, watch out what happens, guys. Maybe better yet, maybe start by the night before. Maybe it's your praying ritual. Maybe you read it the night before, so that way you sleep better. And when you wake up, you're ready to go. Who knows? So guys, gathering customers, if you're constantly positive, if you're on your challenge, you're exercising, you're going to gather customers, because nobody's going to join a challenge when they're watching you gaining 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Sorry to say, but it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to look at me if I gain 30 pounds and say, where do I sign up? I'll take 2. I'll take 2. Yeah, I want what you got going on there. No. Now, do we make mistakes? Is it okay to reset ourselves on our challenge? Yeah. Did you guys not see me jiggling my belly January 1st? I did it. It's going to happen. But the key thing is you don't stay down too long. So the action steps is what we do is you got to set your Premier kit. I personally would set my Premier kit if I were you guys. Now, you guys already have your Premier kit to $300. Most of you guys already on here are probably already getting your $300 kit for free. But you set your Premier kit, and then what you do is the goal is to max it out at the $500. Your max out your $500 Premier kit, okay? What happens when you order a Premier kit is we just simply get it for free and we duplicate. But guys, here's an example I want to give you guys right here is when you guys have, this is compared to a Shape kit to a Premier kit. So let's say you have 3 people on your team, right? Can you guys visualize this right now? You have 3 people on your team, okay? Those 3 people refer 3 people 4 levels deep. So 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. Got it? Okay. Now, everybody's on a Shape kit. 3 people refer 3 people 4 levels deep, and everybody's on a Shape kit, okay? The $99 kit. Anybody want to take a guess what your monthly residual would be?
$1,200.
$595. So 3 people that refer 3 people 4 levels deep, you're earning $595. Now let's go the other route. 3 people who refer 3 4 levels deep with a Premier kit. That's a $300 Premier kit. Anybody want to take a guess?
I was gonna push it. He looked right at me now.
$3,700 a month. Now you guys are gonna sit there and say, that doesn't even make sense. You know, it's only a $300. I don't even get that. Like, it's exponential growth. What happens is as it starts to expand, it's that 3 levels. I'm telling you what, guys, right there it's a huge jump. So, and it's not. Sometimes we're afraid to get people on a $300 kit because we're afraid that, oh my gosh, that's way too much money to ask them to spend. How much is the average person spending right now in America on junk that's keeping them overweight and probably killing them?
$500 a month.
I think it's like $250, $350 that they're just spending on themselves. The average person eats out, spends for the first time in ever, more people eat out than they do anything else. So next is your network. Develop a master list of contacts and keep in one location. So guys, I still have my master contact list that I continue to add on to over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, I actually just had a girl finally right here, Miranda Rush. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I finally had a girl after 8 years. I've been contacting Miranda. She just so happened to message me last night asking me what the difference between ViSalus was and It Works. Well, let me tell you, Miranda. So, guys, it's just like 8 years. You got to develop that list right now and keep it in a hardcover notebook. I've had this book right here forever. This is my hard copy. This is my business. This is like my blueprint right here. So you develop that master list, and the size of your list determines the size of your business. Your list with the raw material for your business. Don't prejudge those who you think will, won't, and those who you think won't, will. Those who you think will, won't, and those who you think won't, will. Okay? Now, this right here, I'm going to give you guys an analogy. So if I were to give you guys $20 for every name that you put down and you guys reached out to. So if I were to give you guys $20, I'm going to give you $20, okay? It doesn't matter if they join or anything like that. If I were to give you $20, how many people would you guys put down on your list and have to be by midnight tonight?
1,000.
Honestly. Huh?
1,000. I'd keep writing until midnight.
1,000. Who on here? Shout out some numbers. Who out here, if I give you $20 per name right now, all you have to do is write names down on the list. How many would you guys have?
1,000.
1,000.
100.
I'd write for 3 hours.
100,000. So, guys, here's an analogy I'm going to give you guys that somebody told me one day, and it has never gotten out of my head since. Do you know that? And I said 1,000. They would have gave me $20,000, and they said, "Well, how about this? How about I can give you $20,000 right now for that 1,000-person list, Or I can help you reach out to those 1,000 people, and you really only need 100. I'll help you go reach out to a 10th of them, and I'll pay you $20,000 every 90 days for the rest of your life for that list.
Deal.
That right there, all of a sudden changed my mindset. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of an employee mindset. $20,000 every 90 days for the rest of my life for doing that work. How many times? Once. Guys, that's residual income. This is residual income. This is not, you do the work one time. We teach you guys how to do the work one time. So is it worth, getting over your scary heart, the fear of actually reaching out to these people and actually just getting it over with? Because once you get over with, once you make your scariest phone call, guys, the rest, once you get your scariest phone call out of the way, that's easy. It's not easy from there, but it's like, what left is there to be scared of? You know what I mean? Where do you left to go? You just got to get it over with. So prioritize in terms of geography, ambition level, maintain your list daily, keep adding names. The goal is to get names off of your list. So for me, I remember hearing one time, like, okay, even if you just get 1 out of 10, just go for no's. Just go for no's. And so I remember sitting there talking to people like, hey, I got a challenge party coming up here on Saturday. I know you don't want to do this, so can you come over to my house and be one of my no's? I need 9 no's. I have to talk to 10 people to find my 1 yes. So can you guys come over to my house and be one of my no's? What? Like, yeah, I got to talk to 10 people to find 1 person. So do you mind coming over to my house and being one of my no's? I need 9 no's. Can you be one of my 9 no's this week? What are you talking about? I actually, what are you doing? What's going on here? Well, come on over and I'll tell you about it. It was like stuff like that was so intriguing to them. They were just like, and they came over and guess what happened? They signed up. They were interested. I mean, it was just so weird, but it was because I simply reached out and actually talked to them. Before, I would never actually just reach out. So action step is you guys already have a 100-person list. Expand it to 300 to 500 names. And then what we're going to be doing is we want to reach out to 3 people per day. Okay. The goal is to reach out to 3 people per day. Your goal is to reach out to 3 people per day. And easiest way I can give you a metaphor is coffee. If anybody's ever served coffee, if everybody's ever been a server before, you literally so you want coffee? No. You want coffee? No. You want coffee? No. Do you want coffee? Yes. The first 3 no's, the server doesn't literally go into freaking hibernation mode and start losing it, start having a hissy fit because the first 3 people said no to coffee. You know what I mean? What it is it's simply just like you don't care what the outcome is. You don't focus on the start date. You just simply focus on your activity. Okay? You just focus on the activity. The other way I can explain this is, you guys ever actually picked apples before? I used this analogy before in the last one, but you guys ever picked apples before? Yeah? You guys ever picked apples? So if I were to give you guys $100 for every red apple that you guys go out there and pick, how many would you guys go out there and pick? Not green apples, not the green apples. So like the red apples, not the green apples they're green when they're the finished product, but I'm talking about, they start off as babies, then they start green, and then they start red, okay? If I were to give you a basket and give it to you guys right there, and I would say, okay, go out there and pick red apples, how many would you guys have in a couple hours? $100 per apple.
Couple bushels.
Everybody would have bushels of apples. You know what I mean? And so the reason why you don't go out there and pick the green ones, and this is what most people would do, is they would go out there and start picking the green ones. But the reason why we don't pick the green ones is why?
They're not ready.
They're not ready yet. They're not ready yet. So you wouldn't sit there and be yelling at the tree like, this whole tree's green. Would you just sit there and wait for them to ripen? and just sit there and wait around the tree. Oh, you're ready yet? They're ready yet? Are they ready yet? Are they ready yet? Are they ready yet? Are they ready yet? What would you do? Would you stand out in front of that tree, pick all the red apples off that tree, and just stand there and yell at the tree and scream at it, telling it to hurry up?
Find a different tree.
Find a different tree. So, find a different tree. Now you got other ones too, where the apples have actually fallen off the tree and they're down on the ground and they're all rotten and they're all rotten and they're nasty and they're just like nothing at all is good about them. You know what I mean? Nothing else is good about them. But would you guys put that in your basket? Trying to pass it off as a red apple? Some of us do. Some of us do. Some of us try to put out that. I'm going to tell you, stay away from the rotten apples. Keep the rotten apples out of your bushels, okay? Keep the rotten apples out of your bushels. Because just picture stepping on an apple barefoot, a rotten apple barefoot. You know how nasty that is when it goes in between your toes? And just like the sick feeling that you get, like when it goes in between your toes. Think about that when you step on something like that. Like, ugh. Okay, that's what I want you to think of when you get next to a rotten apple and you're trying to force a rotten apple to be a red apple. So that's what I'm going to give you guys a tip for there. Action step number 2. Action step number 2 is challenge your. So schedule 2 challenge hours with your team leaders. Make your first call. Don't make your first calls alone. Have somebody with you. The action step number 3 is actually don't write the action steps down. I'm going to give you those at the end. The other action step is you're going to challenge your challenge party. Okay, and you're going to go to party.vi.com. So that's your other action step. So here's your action steps all into one, and we are done, you guys. Action step number 1, join the challenge group. Action step number 2, set up your Premier kit. Set up your Premier kit. Literally go into your back office, click on place order, and place your $300 Premier kit. Because if you're not on a $300 Premier kit, if you're not doing something, can you possibly tell somebody else to do that themselves? It's impossible to tell them. Now, is everybody going to jump on a Premier kit? Are your customers? Is every one of your promoters and customers going to jump on a Premier kit? No, they won't jump on a Premier kit. Expand your network list from 100 to 300 to 500. So if you guys haven't already made up your 100-person list, please make up your 100-person list. Email it to me, and I'll help you walk through there. Action step number 4. And then contact 3 a day. Your goal is to contact 3 a day. It could just be through Facebook. It could be through text message, email, phone call, whatever. But you're just reaching out to 3 per day, okay? Reaching out to 3 per day. Action step number 4, schedule 2 challenge hours with your team leader. Don't make your first calls alone and have somebody with you. Have somebody with you. Action step number 5, schedule your challenge party. Okay? At this challenge party, you're going to fill it up through the what? Challenge hours, correct. Everybody's on mute there. Challenge hours. Action step, and your goal at your challenge party is to get 1 customer or 1 promoter. Action step number 6 is schedule at least 1 2-on-1 sit downs with a higher influence person. Okay, so a higher influence person. A 2-on-1 is literally me, you, and that person sitting down having coffee. You, me, that person sitting down. I work with people sometimes that they build their whole life on to just doing 2-on-1s. Sitting down, having water, sitting down, having coffee, sitting down and just meeting with people 2-on-1s. I have people in my business that have built themselves to ambassador by just constant 2-on-1s. But where it's going to duplicate is where? The parties. It's going to duplicate in the parties. It's going to duplicate in the parties. So action step number 1, join a challenge group. 2, set up your Premier kit. 3, expand your list from 100 to 300. If you haven't already got your list, please get it to there. Email to me ASAP. Step number 4, schedule 2 challenge hours with your team leader. 5, schedule your challenge party. A goal is to get 1 customer, 1 promoter. Action step number 6, schedule at least 2-on-1 sit-downs with a higher level so action steps right now for your lid leaders is make sure that you record. Yep, actually, that's pretty much it here. So, guys, what I'm going to go out there and do is I'm going to put this list up on here for you guys right here. So those are your 6 action steps. Those are your, geez, Pete's.
Hey, Josh, is there any videos?
Yep, and that's the last thing I'm going to give you guys right here. So I'm going to post this picture on the May ID run. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to keep that dry May to AD. I know there's a ton of things, a ton of groups that you guys may be a part of, but keep your guys' eye on the Drive to AD May class. You guys are literally family right now. You guys are literally rooting each other on because some of you guys are going to get to level 3 in the first 30 days. You're going to may want to let life happen to you, get in your way. So things that are going to help you out with that are on VET. You're going to watch 3 videos, okay? The first video is Why Dream Crusade Goals by Kyle Passetti. The second video is The 4 Levels of Learning by Nick Sarnicola. And then the third video is Your Network by Rod Schulhauser. So you're going to watch those 3 videos this week here.
What was the last one? Networks what?
Your Network by Rod Schulhauser. So the next lesson that we will have, guys, will be Sunday night at 9 p.m. And the other lessons are a little bit shorter than this. The first one always takes an hour to get out of the way because we're exposing you guys to hear what's about to go on. But, guys, you got those 6 action steps, and you got the 3 videos I do here. This is literally your blueprint. The biggest thing is the 3 contacts per day. Everybody wants to spend a lot of time researching and researching and researching, but do you get good at running by reading about running? Do you get good at running by Zooming about running or talking about running? How do you get good at running?
Practice makes perfect.
Running. So don't overthink this or anything like that. Just start running. At least start walking. Maybe jogging. I think that's a half jogging. Half jog, half walk, half jog. Actually, that would be a third. So a third, all that stuff. So, guys, I'm going to post this picture right up here. 6 action steps, 3 videos. Schedule your party is the big one, and let's start filling that bad boy up. And let's go out there and get some victories. So Sunday night, 9 p.m. will be lesson 2. So let's go out there. Have a great week. Love you guys. Be blessed, and have a great day.